Hi, let me start with a feeling almost everyone in the UK has, but nobody really talks about. You open your payslip, you see your salary, then you see tax, national insurance, pension, and somewhere in your head a thought appears. Why is so much money missing? But you don't question it. You tell yourself, this is UK, tax is high, and that's normal. And then you move on. That moment when you stop questioning is exactly where overpaying tax begins. I am a UK chartered accountant, and today I want to talk to you about something very important. I am a UK chartered accountant, and today I want to talk to you about something very important. Your tax code, how your tax is actually calculated, and how to check if you are overpaying the tax. You should know. No theories, no hype, just clarity. Here's something most people don't realize. The UK tax system doesn't merely know you. It doesn't know how hard you work. It doesn't know how stressful your job is. It doesn't know what's happening in your personal life. It works on assumptions. Those assumptions are based on the information it has at that moment. So, if your life changes but the information doesn't, the numbers stop matching reality. And when numbers don't match the reality, tax goes wrong. Not in a dramatic way, just small amounts, month after month. Let me show you where all this actually sits. This is the personal tax account on HMRC website. I'm not logging in here. I just want you to know this place exists. Think of it like a control room. This is where HMRC decide what tax code you have, how much income they think you earn, how much tax should come out of your pay. Most people never visit this place unless something goes wrong because they trust payroll, they trust system, they assume someone else is checking. But here's the truth, no one checks unless you check. Now think about how often life changes. You change jobs, you get a pay raise, you get a bonus, you start a side income, you stop one income, you get married. Every one of these affects tax, but the system doesn't automatically understand your life. It only understands updates. If you update properly, assumptions change. Otherwise, it stays. And those assumptions decide how much tax you have to pay every single month. One of the biggest assumptions is your tax code. A tax code is not just a judgment, it's a calculation. It's HMRC saying, based on what information we know, this is how we have calculated your tax. If it's correct, tax works fine. If it's outdated, then tax amount won't be correct. Not in a way that shocks you, in a way that's easy to ignore. That's why people overpay without even realizing it. Now, instead of guessing how tax works, let me show you something practical. This is HMRC's personal tax calculator. I like this tool because it doesn't talk too much, it just shows numbers. Let's take a simple example. Someone earns 40,000 a year, no side income, nothing complicated. You type 40,000 pounds into the calculator and straight away it shows how much income tax is due, how much national insurance you have to pay, and roughly how much take home pay looks like. And suddenly one question gets answered. Does my payslip actually make sense? Now, here's where this tool becomes really useful. You don't need to understand tax rules. You just need to change one number and at a time and watch what happens. What if income goes up slightly? What if pension contribution changes? You change one number and the calculator updates. That's it. You are not memorizing any formula. You are just observing. Most people never use this tool. They rely on payslips. They rely on payroll. But this calculator lets you step back and ask one simple question. If my income looks like this, what should my tax roughly look like? Now, let's talk about something that surprises a lot of people. There are tax benefits in the UK that do nothing unless you actively claim them. One example is marriage allowances. I have seen couples married for years, both working, both paying tax properly, and still missing this. Not because they are careless, because nobody ever told them that this exists. The rules are actually very clear, very simple. If one partner earns below the personal allowances and the other pays basic rate tax, part of their unused allowances can be transferred to other partner. That's real money. No tricks, no loopholes. And here's the important part. If you don't check, nothing happens. This is also why tax refund exists. People act surprised when they hear about refunds, but refunds are normal. There's a whole official page for tax refunds. Why? Because people overpay tax all the time, not on purpose, not because they are careless, but corrections only happen when someone corrects them. Now let's talk about pensions for a moment. When people hear pensions, they think, I can't afford that. What they really mean is, I don't understand how tax relief works. For many people, putting £100 into a pension doesn't actually reduce take home pay by £100. It's often less. But if no one explains that, all you see is money leaving your bank. So you avoid it. And by avoiding, you often pay more tax instead of avoiding pensions. Isn't neutral. It costs money. If you are self-employed, this matters even more. Many self-employed people overpay tax because they are scared of doing something wrong, scared of claiming expenses. So they don't claim expenses like home office cost, phone bills, software, subscriptions. They think they are being safe. They are not. The system allows these expenses for a reason. Not claiming them doesn't protect you, it just increases your tax bills. Now, pause for a second. Think about yourself. When was the last time you actually checked your tax code, logged into your personal tax account, checked whether the information matches your real life? Not assumed, actually checked. If your answer is, I'm not sure or I never have, that's not a failure, that's just information. Let me be very clear before we finish. This is not about avoiding tax. This is not about loopholes. This is not about doing anything wrong. This is about paying the right amount of tax. Overpaying tax doesn't make you responsible. It just means nobody showed you how to check, and once you understand that, things changes. Here's one thing I want you to do. One evening, no stress, no rush. Log into your personal tax account, look at it, and ask one simple question. Does this reflect my real life right now? That's it. 15 minutes, potentially hundreds of pounds. Before you go, don't just comment great video. Instead, tell me this. What part of the video was unclear? Like tax codes, the tax calculator, marriage allowances, pensions, self-employed expenses, etc. Comment that and I will make the next video based on your questions and not just guesses. Thank you.